thumbs up in the room if you can hear me. Cool.
Welcome
All
to our
right.
chat on cybersecurity. We have with us Jackson Norris. I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a minute. But first, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are and what you're hoping to get out of today's session. Start with you.
Yeah, I'm Pierce Mason. I use he, they pronouns. I'm a senior computer science and data science double major. And I think the main thing I'm wanting to look into is like center, at least right now, doesn't really have many courses that are specifically for cybersecurity. I assume that was the same when you went to center. So I guess just the process of learning those, that I guess new avenue in the comp sci field.
Sure. Of course. And remind me, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name.
Pierce.
Pierce.
Pierce. Yeah.
Oh,
I am also Jackson.
oh hey.
I also a CS major here, a senior, and I am looking to get out of this. Well, I worked in a cybersecurity internship over the summer, so trying to figure out how to take that and move further into the field, I suppose.
Cool. Can I ask where you're at?
Yeah, it's a company called Genuine Parts Company in Atlanta. They're they're not big in cybersecurity, but they're a pretty big company. I was
Okay.
doing identity access management there.
I okay. Cool. I am. All right. And then
My name is Mitch. I am a junior, and so I'm kind of just wanting to explore this avenue. I have a lot of interest in this as a field, and I kind of just want to get an intro into it.
cool. And your major?
Oh, computer science,
Perfect.
math.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to, get a taste for what you all are studying so I can tailor the conversation to that a little bit. So yeah, it's good to meet you all. My name is Jackson Norris. I graduated from Center in 2021. So I guess I wouldn't have interacted with many of you all, but I graduated in 21 and then I immediately started working for Churchill Downs Incorporated here in Louisville. If you all are familiar with it, we host the Kentucky Derby every year. Um, so that's where I started and that's where I am now. I am now a cybersecurity analyst on our security operations team, doing a lot of detection work, like trying to detect the bad guys and building response processes so that we can, kick them out of our network. Um, I was a math major at Center, so I got a. It was like when I was there, that was right when the data science major was kind of taking off. So I took a lot of the data science classes, but didn't quite get there on the major. But I love data, and if you all are big data people, I'd love to get into that today. So yeah, so I joined CDI. They have this program called the Information Technology Leadership Program, which is a 2-year program for new grads. Um, and it exposes you to 4 different rotations that are 6 months long in different parts of the business. So you can do like software development, cybersecurity, network engineering, that kind of thing. And so part of that rotation, I did cybersecurity, and I really enjoyed it, and I fit in well with the team. So here I am today. Um, Joined the cybersecurity team for quote unquote full time. Once that program was ended, and I've been there for about 2 years now since then. So, and I'm happy to be here today, here to answer any questions you all have, and however I can help you in your growth and your careers. So. Do you all have a good intro question, or I'm happy to keep blabbing on if you all want.
Can you hear me, Jackson?
Yeah, what's up, Michael?
Um, why did you decide to work in this industry?
So I grew up in Louisville and I was very familiar with Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby. So I've been a big fan my whole life, and I heard about the IT leadership program through a Zoom chat like this back when I was a senior. So I was interested and I applied, and things worked out, and here I am. Do
They
y'all need me
are.
to speed up or slow down or anything too? Just let me know.
What would you say are some of the most vital steps that someone should take if they want to work in cybersecurity?
Um, really harness your skills. It's uh it's difficult in college sometimes to really, get like business specific skills that tailor themselves to cybersecurity, but really focus on like your communication skills, your writing skills, and take as many technical classes as you can, because those are going to be super helpful. If you can learn how to write code, if you learn how code works, if you learn how operating systems work, if you learn how to, communicate using data, that's a huge one that has really propelled me in my career. Because, I'll be honest, a lot of people in my field, in my team, don't have the great like data communication skills. So that was a real value to me out of center, was be able to, throw a graph together, and try to communicate my ideas using data, because there is a gap for that and a need for it. What's up? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Michael, can you relay that for me? I
What
can't.
specific, what specific skills do you recommend learning, honing up on that have been very helpful and useful to you in cybersecurity?
With like a data.
Like within data specific.
Um, Specific skills. I mean, I haven't used a ton of like super heavy machine learning type stuff in this role. Um, I really would focus on, if you have a good project or anything, to like really focus on your presentation skills and developing high quality graphs, and um being able to run statistical analyses and say, okay, the data is telling me this thing. um that's super valuable. And I guess learning like persistence skills, like being able to be persistent and like really diving through the data that you have, to really find like deep conclusions, is super helpful. I mean, I'm working with our sim, which has terabytes of data every single day, and learning like the process of, here's a gigantic data set. What is something valuable in it? And how do I communicate that? That's a huge skill to have. Does that help? Cool.
Do you know of any other programs other than the one that you took that would be, an optimal segue into the cybersecurity field?
Um, So I would recommend, Lexmark has a similar one, or they did, a couple years ago. I think they still do. Look into Lexmark, their data science development program. Um, Look into if you're interested in government work, I would look into the NSA, and their Code Breaker Challenge. It's a great way to get into a similar like 3-year rotation program. It's called their 3-year. something analyst, code breaking analyst role. And it those kind of like rotational programs are really valuable to, get exposure to a lot of businesses, or a lot of different aspects of the business or organization or entity that you're working for. Um, I would suggest also don't be afraid of like a help desk role or a server administration role, or if you're interested in cloud, kind of intro cloud computing world, um, learning like learning about operating systems and learning, how to administer information technology, may be a great step into getting to cybersecurity. Um, yeah, that would be my recommendation. I'll think of some more options too if I can come up with any. Or, internships are great too. It's a great way to get your foot in the door, and if you work hard and make a good impression, they might hire you out of it. So, what's up?
Just giving a thumbs up.
Oh, cool, cool. Yes.
Um, I know that like the cybersecurity field is very diverse and often like in corporations, it's all kind of lumped together. So like when I
Mhm.
worked this summer, we had IAM and the actual cyber defense team like operate in the same space. So what role do you think is kind of the best for promoting upward mobility within like the field, like moving up in like management positions? Like what aspect of cyber would you recommend for that?
Um, so I'll get into my team if that's okay. My team is broken into three, which is the infrastructure team, which is they do like the network infrastructure, like the firewalls and the VPN and they do a lot of IAM type work. Um, then there's the governance team, which is like the policy writing team, our risk management team. They do a lot of like our penetration tests, or like they work, with our outsourced vendors to do those things. And then our operations team, which is what I'm on, uh, is we do we do the detect and respond work to where we're really close together with the attacker to try to understand what they're doing. And if you're wanting to get into management, you kind of have to learn all of them, but because you have to lead all of them. But I think that security operations is a great place to get into the security field. If you can get into it, um, that's a great starting point. If you're interested in like network administration or things like that, that is a great place to be. But also, I don't hesitate to get into like a policy or GRC type role because those are the people that do get promoted. The people that can like create policies for like a business or an entity. Um, so I'll give you all an example. I know I've been giving a lot of deep security knowledge, but I'll try to be a little more accessible. So if say there's this new um, AI tool that hits, like have you all heard about DeepSeek and its revolution? Um, so a lot of what the GRC type world will do is go out and research what DeepSeek does, how it's a risk to the organization, um, and develop policies to help whatever organization you're working for. Uh, try to work with or against or block or set controls or however however the DeepSeek implementation needs to be done at your organization. Being able to like document those kind of policies um, is super valuable and really helps launch you in your career. Yeah. So I and to if I can keep going a little bit, definitely really focus on your writing and your communication skills when you're in college. Um, that's one way to really set yourself apart. Writing reports like that, policies. It may not be the most fun, like hands-on keyboard. Oh, I get to hack this thing kind of role, but it's super important, and definitely don't shy away from it. What's up?
What does your like day to day look like? Like, what are some problems or projects you're working on, right? Like maybe right now or like the last month or something that excited you?
Exciting. So I work with Splunk, which is our SIEM, SIEM. You might want to write that down. Um, it's our gigantic data platform um, that logs everything that happens pretty much in the company. Um, so I get to dive through the logs, build detections, try to understand like if somebody runs a command or something, try to understand why, or was this malicious, or was this for something they need operationally. That's a lot of my job. We get a lot of alerts and things. Somebody ran this command. Can you go investigate it? That kind of investigative work is a lot of what I do. um, Big projects. We're onboarding an MDR, which is, I don't know how much I should tell you all. I'm kidding. Um, but we are gonna use bigger businesses to help us in our detection work, and our response work, and be able to, negotiate and wrangle those vendors. Is the center business major, is that a thing yet, or is that still coming? It's a thing. Okay. I know a lot of y'all are seniors, so um, it's kind of late in the game. But if you're underclass students, definitely maybe consider a business class or two. Um, just be able to communicate with business folks, try to justify, why we need to buy this thing is kind of like a lot of business. Uh, Communicate with people that don't really, understand every single part of your day, and try to convince them why what you do is important, and why you need however many dollars for this new project or this new investment. That's very important too. I forget your original question? Could you, did that get all the points?
I was just asking like what your day looks like.
Yeah, a lot of that security operations role, meetings. There's always meetings. There's just more meetings. Um, yeah, a lot of the response type role. That's what I really find enjoyable. That's why I like to do my job.
So what new skills have you developed as a professional since starting your professional work?
New skills. Ton of new technical skills. Yeah, I learned Splunk. Um, I've, gotten to learn a lot about um, Active Directory and IAM, which is kind of just like not something you really get to learn in a school. It's kind of hard to teach. Uh, Networking is important. Like both the soft networking, like learning how to interact with people, but also like the technical networking, like this computer needs to talk to this computer. Um, I've gotten a pretty good knowledge there. And just business knowledge too, learning how uh, businesses grow and businesses operate. is super valuable. Other skills. Yeah, I love the detection stuff, learning all different kinds of ways that things get logged. Um, yeah.
What would you say are some of the most difficult or most frequent challenges you face in your job?
Difficult or most frequent? Um, I mean, I'll be honest with you all, security does get a bad rep sometimes, just because usually whenever the business wants to do something and they have like a key priority, usually security is not exactly the first thing that is their priority. Um, so whenever you want to build a new facility or build a new application or I don't know, deploy a new web service or something like that. Um, usually the priority is to get it built as quick as possible and shipped out and to make money. Um, security has a bad reputation sometimes because you're kind of getting in there and you're trying to say, hold on, you can't do it like this because X. Um, that's definitely a challenge. And learning how to communicate with people and um, like you never want to be, if you want to be a security professional, you never want to be the one that just says no all the time. Like, no, no, no. You want to be the person that's providing the best solution for the business while maintaining security um, as you go. So that's a lot of the challenge is just like that business negotiation, a little bit of the butting heads, but you all are professional and you're kind and um, that's a skill you'll learn and hopefully you'll excel at when you become security professionals. Yeah, you mentioned you worked some IAM type stuff. Can I ask, so like were there times that you had to say, hey, sorry, you can't have access to this thing, or maybe we need to construct this policy in such a way?
The software we were using. And so they were, I was not telling anyone no. I was helping to make a like a proof of concept of an implementation. So I was the one that was told no sometimes when I had to go and get like a domain for the browser app that I was building, or even get permission to run certain software that the company had purchased to just no one had gotten around to approving yet. So
Yeah.
um, fortunately, no. But I guess maybe also unfortunately, because I didn't get that experience to work. Well, no, because then my team had to go and talk to another team about like features they wanted included into the SIAM system. And my kind of mentor had to tell them no. And I was sitting in the meeting. So I did get some experience in watching how that played out.
Good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like it is a negotiation of push and pull. And when you all start your jobs, you're gonna want access to something, and they're gonna be like, sorry, no, that's maybe later on." Like, um, because I mean, when you're starting out, and I know it's frustrating. I've been there. When you're starting out and you're like, "Oh, I want AWS CLI access so that I can do all these fancy commands." Hold on, we might need to rein that in a little bit. Like, um, let's make sure you've got some guardrails to set you on. No, I don't say that to like freak you all out or intimidate or you or anything. it should be on whoever you end up working for to, build you those guardrails. And if they don't, definitely ask for them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it kind of cuts out a little bit.
Get your boss to lean on somebody to make something happen.
Yeah. Yes, and then that gets challenging too sometimes.
Been out working for about 4 years-ish now. What are some things that you wish you had known prior to going into the industry?
Things I wish I. Um, I guess I would encourage you all to try out as many different hats as you can. Really try to learn your niche. Um, when you're young and fresh out of college, it's really easy to try a bunch of new hats, a bunch of new things. Um, it's a lot harder when you advance in your career oh, I'm gonna try this new thing. Like it doesn't quite work that way. Um, so definitely, when you're young and starting out, try as much as you can and try to find what you're interested in and your niche, and uh, then develop your skills that attach themselves to that niche. Um, Other things I wish I knew. I would encourage you all, and I don't know if you all feel this way, but when I was a center student, I definitely felt like there was such a rush, like a productivity, like I felt like I was on the hamster wheel. Like I got to get these certs, I gotta take this class, do this cert, I got to get this internship. All that's well and good and everything, but I definitely do encourage you all to, enjoy your college experience and really get to, make friends and make connections and make connections with your professors um, and try to get away a little bit from the hamster wheel because you've got your whole life to work. You only get one small chunk of your life to be in college, so definitely make the most out of it.
How does your work-life balance feel um, at your current role compared to center?
I heard I missed a bit. So is how how is my work-life balance feel compared to center? Is that what was it you were asking? Okay. Um. So it is nice working a 9 to 5 because you work and then you go home. Um, Usually in an IT type role, there is an on-call component to it. I Nobody likes on-call, but I would not stray away from a job simply because of it. Um, the way my on-call works is, once every 6 weeks, I'm in charge of taking the alerts. It doesn't mean I'm, not sleeping or anything. Um, but my work-life balance is good. I, come in to the office, work, and I go home. Um, there's not now I was a sucker and decided to go to grad school while I'm doing this job. So that's definitely made things challenging. But I would encourage you all to go get a job before you go to grad school. Um, Try to get your foot in the door, and then maybe later on, if you find your niche or something like that, and you decide, okay, I might want, I don't know, something crazy like a law degree or an MBA or um, something like that. Or, if you want more computing type work, there's tons of certifications or traditional grad school in computer science, which is what I'm doing. Um, yeah, I would encourage you to definitely try to get a job if you can. I understand, it's not everyone's situation is the same, but learn 9 to 5 work life, and then go home and enjoy your night. Watch whatever show you want to watch. Take certs, or it's nice to be able to build the life that you want, and not have to worry about homework and projects and things all the time. But I mean, there are stressful components to jobs, and that's life, and you got to learn how to pay bills and rent, and that, that stuff's not as fun. But yeah, what's up?
Has anyone new sort of entered your like position? I guess like what exactly have you found as common traits across like new hires for your role or elsewhere?
Common traits for new hires. So it's I hate to give this answer because I don't want to discourage anyone, but we've definitely do prioritize security experience. Uh, Common traits. I would say this: your experience helps you get in the door, right, for that final interview, but your personality and your cultural fit really helps you get the job. So, if you're looking for, an entry level job, um, your center education sets you up really well for that. Um, to get in the door for the final interview. But the cultural interview is going to be, do we like this person? Do they fit well, or are they going to be obnoxious? There are all kinds of things that tell you if someone is or isn't going to get a job. But if you're obnoxious and you come off as like, oh, I'm I know everything. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna change this place. Like, hold on. You want to be able to work well with other people. Um, and if you're interested too, a lot of people grow into this industry by taking like server administrative type roles or help desk type roles, and then apply internally. And that's how a lot of people have gotten into my team is they came from another team to be on my team. Does that help? Does that answer your question? You got any? Um, yeah.
I'd like to do a mock interview. The CCPD would be very happy to help you.
Oh, and yes, the mock interview was one of the most helpful things for me to get my foot in the door here. Um, Definitely work with your CCPD to set up those mock interviews, to do resume prep and stuff, because a lot of the interview questions that I had towards the end were pretty much the same kinds of questions that the mock interview asked, and it was nice to be able to be prepared for it. You don't want your final interview to be your first test, you know? What have been some of your all's favorite classes?
Hot glass.
Glass. Yeah, I don't do a ton of that this day and age, but still have tons of the glass figures. Michael, you might have to help me out.
Metrics,
One more time.
econometrics.
Econometrics. Okay, little financial modeling. That I mean, that's kind of like data type stuff. That would be super important. Um, yeah, I definitely encourage you all to look into the data type classes, and really focus on your communication skills. I'm
Design,
sorry.
probability theory, software design, probability theory.
Software design, probability theory. Yeah, I love prop theory. That was definitely one of those ones that does come back. It's just kind of just out there, and it's nice to understand a little bit about probability. Can't think of a specific example, but it's a good class. I'm glad you got to take it.
I really enjoyed parallel computing.
Parallel computing. Good for you.
Can't relate.
I think you'll be set up very well for your future. So, Michael, can you help me out?
What was your favorite class?
My favorite class, I really liked I think it was called Data Science 305 or something. It was like the second data science class, um, where you had like a project and like a big final project. It was not like a capstone or anything like that, but to learn how to, develop some of those ML models and communicate using those. That a lot of the skills that I got in that class were really valuable. I think Dr. Allen taught it. I don't know if it's still a thing. Does that sound familiar? Thumbs up, maybe.
Still around. It may have changed its number, but still here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that class a lot. Um, Prop theory was a good one. Um, I liked algorithms. You like algorithms, but if you don't, it's okay.
Yes. Well, Jackson, thank you so much. I will be in touch very soon. We appreciate your time.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn if you all ever want to get in touch. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you all have too. Yeah, feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to help you all. It's been a pleasure meeting you all.
Thanks, Jackson.